and welcome to Long's Toys. I have something rather unique to review for you today. These are knockoff toys, kind of done in the style of Thomas the Tank Engine. This is in no way a licensed Thomas the Tank Engine product, but it's 3 knockoff toys. They're 3 trains that actually combine into a robot. So I found these at sirtoys.com on Bolt Matrix's suggestion. I went looking for those Super Deleter giant combiner robots, which I did also pick up, and they're very cool. I posted a picture on my Twitter a couple days ago. But while I was kind of looking around at the other stuff they had this, all 3 together, for $9.99. And I had heard of these before, people finding them at kind of like, dollar stores or Five Belows, things like that, where it's just a couple bucks. And I've wanted one ever since I heard about it, because to me it's just hilarious. It's Thomas the Tank Engine that transforms into a robot. So I was already buying something, and the shipping was like non-existent. It wasn't any more expensive to toss this in, and it was only 10 bucks. I had to do it. So we'll be taking a look at each of these trains individually, and then of course I will walk you through the transformation. But it's a lot of fun, so let's take a look. Alright, so first train up here is the blue one, which I don't know much about Thomas the Tank Engine, but I think Thomas is the blue one. Pretty nice face on the front, I have to say. Of all the paint and detailing, I think the face on each of these trains is done the best. As you can see, it is a very cheap plastic toy. The connections are not really that great. The quality of the plastic is very cheap. You can see where it wasn't cut all the way, and there's like some little, run-off plastic flaps that are still attached. But you could kind of shave them down with like an X-Acto knife and then maybe some sandpaper or something. I mean, the paint is not perfect. You can see there's kind of scuffs and everything. But when you keep in mind it was $10 for all 3 trains, I mean, it's not meant to be super detailed. And I have to say, I think the amount of paint apps that are on this thing, for as cheap as it is, it's pretty good. I mean, most of the time when you see toys like this in a dollar store or something, maybe the head has like a visor painted or something and the rest of it's a solid color. So I have to say, they're pretty nicely painted for as cheap as they are. So now we'll move on and take a look at the next train. Alright, up next here is a green one. And again, after Thomas, I've exhausted all my knowledge of trains. I don't know any of the other names. So if you know what the green one is called on the show, feel free to let me know. But again, the paint's a little, bleeding in spots or rubbed off. But I still think it looks pretty good. Now they do have these, I forgot to show, they do have these little clips here in the front. And there's a peg here in the back, so you can connect it if you like. Just to get kind of like a train going. Although they're all engines, so I don't know why you'd really have them connected. But you can. So I have to say, I think it looks pretty... I think this one's even more well painted than the blue one. I think the black and the silver looks really good with the green. And again, the face is pretty well done. So yeah, pretty good. Alright, next up is the red train, which I assume is named Daisy, because it has that name on the side. You can see here, the faces are pretty much the same on all of them. But this one has some stickers. There's a sticker here, and then there's a sticker here on the back piece. Now this piece, for the life of me, does not really want to stay in. It really comes off really easily. I mean, it's just a peg and a kind of a loose port there, but otherwise, I mean, this one has the least amount of paint. In fact, this one pretty much has no paint. It just kind of has this down here, and then it relies on stickers. If it didn't have the stickers, it would be really, really plain. But otherwise, I think it's decent. It does not have any of the loops in the front or the back, so... Although I guess it does have a peg back here. These wings kind of get in the way, though. But I guess technically you could connect this? Yeah, I guess it does fit. So he would have to be the front of the train, though, because he does not have a peg in the front. Or a loop in the front to peg onto someone else. But overall, with the exception of this thing pretty much falling off all the time, I think it looks pretty cool. I like the stickers. I think they look nice. So let's go ahead and get this guy combined into a robot. Alright, so I might have to adjust the camera as I go. Now, these did not come with instructions of any kind, but I think I've pretty much figured out how it goes. You're going to kind of start by just kind of taking all the pieces apart. Everything that comes off, just go ahead and pop all the pieces apart. So the main thing I guess you can start with, this is going to become the main section of the robot. you can see here there's a seam. So this is going to pop open. And you can see here there's a slot and a little peg, a little tab. So these are going to go in and then just peg in there and stay like that. This piece is actually going to go forward. And then as you can see, there's a peg here and a peg hole right there. So this is going to come down and these two will peg into each other. And that's going to form the kind of waist where the legs will peg onto. And then this is going to be the torso where the arms will peg onto. And if you want, you can go ahead and flip the head out now. I'll try to zoom in to get a look. The head is painted really weird. I don't know what was going on there. It looks like there's some detail in there as far as the eyes go. Like you can see there's, my finger's in the way, but there's kind of eyes there. And maybe that was like a train conductor's hat or something, which would have been awesome. But it looks like they just threw some blue paint on his face. Again, I understand it's a cheap toy. But if you could almost paint this yourself, like paint in the eyes, and if this was a conductor's hat, I think that would look really amazing. But anyway, that's the main torso for the robot. You're going to come along to these two pieces, which are going to be your legs. Come around to the back, and you can see this kind of big tab here. Use that to pull this out, and it's kind of tight. But you can see here, you're going to pull out, this is the, thigh, and then this is the leg. So you just go ahead and do the same thing with both of these. And now again, I assume that the hollow parts would go towards the inside. And then again, there's these big holes. So just pop that on there. And pop this on here. And I'm going to try to keep this guy in frame. So there you go. You've kind of got your legs and your torso here. You're going to take these pieces. These are going to be your shoulder pads, basically. You can see this tab here. This part's going to rotate around. And that's kind of going to be your like bicep. It's kind of small. I wish it was a little bit longer, but so be it. Now, the way these are set up, it almost seems like they're supposed to be on opposite sides. So the colors are kind of all over the place. But this hole, this peg, pop that on there. I would probably, just my personal preference, prefer all blue on one side and all green on one side, but it kind of works. It kind of just makes, the colors a little bit more uniform. All right, so then you're going to take these pieces, and you can see there's a hand underneath here, and you're going to flip the hand out, and then you can see there's just a peg here, and that is just going to peg in. Actually, the more that I look at this, it's kind of weird the way these are done. If I can get this off. Man, I really pegged this in here. The inside of the forearm is hollow on this side, but you see the kind of hole. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch these back up. So I went ahead and switched these because I'd rather have the solid bicep here than have the outside, which has the hollow bicep. When you do that, though, you put the hands on, you can see they're not quite right, but there's just a peg here, and that just pegs right into that hole there. So the robot is pretty much done. The hands do look a little weird. They almost look like they're backwards, but you'd have to turn it the other way. I don't know. The hands look weird. But if you come around to the back, you can see there's a giant peg here. You take this last piece, you flip the chrome wings 180, and then you're going to peg this hole into this peg right here, which sometimes is kind of a pain because this is just kind of like hanging on here with not really connected very strongly. So when you try to push it in, it just wants to bend back because it doesn't have any kind of strong backing. But if you can just kind of get it on there, it's a little difficult. But if you can get it on there, what you are left with is a pretty cool, giant, transforming train robot. So I have to say, I love this thing. It's definitely weird and goofy, but it's just so hilarious to me. I mean, it's three Thomas the Tank Engine trains merged into a giant robot. And I think the robot looks pretty good. I love the chrome wings in the back. I like the train shoulder pads. The arms look good. The hands are a little weird. They're like my only complaint. But the legs look good, even from the back. I think they look fine. I mean, for a cheap toy that was about $10, I think it's worth every penny. I have so much enjoyment from this thing. It just makes me happy. I can't really explain why. I think because it's so ridiculous, it just makes me smile. But I think the robot looks cool. I like the look of the robot. Even if this was a Transformer and you took the Thomas train faces off and just made it a serious train combiner robot, I think it looks good. I really like the design of it. The wings on the back are a really nice touch. I think the shoulder pads look good. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm just gushing on this thing. I'm just reiterating everything, but I love it. If you can somehow find this thing, if they have it at a dollar store near you, or like a Dollar General or somewhere that sells cheap toys, find it on eBay, go to Sir Toys and get one. However you'd like to get one, I recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. It just makes me smile. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Would love to hear your thoughts on this thing. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at this knockoff Thomas the Tank Engine Combiner robot, and thanks for watching.